Hi, everyone. I'm Luann, and I'm on the board development team here at IASB, and I'm really looking forward to our in-person convention on November 17th and 18th. And I'm here with one of our keynoters, Yong Zhao, who's going to be speaking on Thursday, November 18th. And we're so excited to have you back in Iowa. You were here with us a few years ago, Yong, and we're excited to have you with us.
Well, thanks, Luan. It's so great to be back. And I'm very excited to be in person with the board members in Iowa. That sounds great.
And we are too. Thank you for this opportunity. This is video interview is actually not just to promote convention, but we're going to turn this into a board development exercise. So it's to extend the learning of our board members. So we can start the learning now, and then you can continue the conversation with them on November 18th.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I think I'm looking forward to this. And it's if anything we can do to help board members to consider before the November event, it would be wonderful.
Thanks, Yong. We have some real committed learners. So my first question to you is, you are going to be talking about a super important topic, and it's about the possibilities that school leaders have to reimagine education and to ensure high and equitable student learning for all students that inspires creativity and entrepreneurship. Why are you so interested in speaking to school board members? Why are school board members such an important audience in this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I've always viewed school boarders as the policymakers. I think they actually really manage and guard and guide where schools go. We have a state curriculum, we have all this and teacher policies, but board members, the local school board members in America, by the way, they are very unique, globally speaking. And what they have is designing policies. What do you care about in your school districts? Every district has its own kind of unique characteristics, but what do you care? What kind of students do you want to have? So I'm very eager to speak to board members. Hopefully, they can affect the local policies. They can also mediate some of the bad policies from the federal and state levels. So I really view board members as really the key to a better education. And I'm hoping actually board members are not only managing school buildings or teacher hiring and firing. I really want board members to focus on what kind of education we want to offer.
Well, that's exactly why we asked you to come and speak. And we at IASB believe in the efficacy, and we know that school board members can and do make a significant difference when it comes to student learning. So that brings me to my first question. My second question, actually, Yong, is that you have prepared two discussion questions for board members and superintendents to talk about at the board table. What would be the first question you would propose for them to discuss?
I would really want all our board members to consider the question I already mentioned. What kind of students do you want? Because school board members really can decide and can facilitate the educational outcomes we want. And American education has been really kind of destroyed by a lot of federal policies. We come up with all kinds of crazy ideas, college and career readiness, for example. It's a crazy idea. And you also have all the state standardized testing. The state is also interfering with a lot of education. I want board members to come down to ask themselves, what kind of education do you want for your district? What kind of students do you want? Where do you want your students to go? We are in the midst of huge uncertainties. We have artificial intelligence, we have the fourth industrial revolution, we have global competition, and all of this recreate the future of our children. We cannot get our children ready for the future because they are the creators of the future. Now, if they're the creators of the future, what kind of qualities you want our students to have? That's the first big question.
Thank you, Young. That's so provocative. And let's go ahead and talk about your second question now that you would pose for board superintendent teams to talk about.
Well, the second question kind of relates to the first one. The first one said, what kind of students do you want? Second one is what kind of schools can you build? COVID-19 has disrupted virtually all schools, but also has invited a lot of innovations. Everybody, kind of on standby will go online tomorrow if the COVID hits, or we can reopen. It's a lot of uncertainties, but also has brought in tremendous innovations. We've tried online. Parents were forced to deal with online. We may not like it, but we've had it. Never had so many school leaders and teachers been dealing with online learning, remote learning. That's a huge lesson. We've purchased a lot of technology tools. We've helped schools to buy technology devices for kids. Everybody has some experience. Do not lose that. So how do we have a school that can take advantage of what happened during COVID, combined with the in-person learning? Because in the future, we'll discover our learning will be global, will be online, and face-to-face. This will be especially true for a lot of rural schools, for a lot of inner city schools, open and in person. How do we build a school like that? Do not ditch online learning. But then how do you do it? How do you have a better design? I know many schools may say, oh God, remote learning was horrible. However, remember, we have a lot of bad in-person learning. And also we were only with remote learning for a year and a half. What if we were with remote learning for 10 years? What would that happen? And how do we know where COVID might hit? So this is what I think school leaders, school board members can think about. How do we recreate a different educational ecosystem that can deliver the kind of education that prepares our children to be creative, entrepreneurial, to create jobs, not to look for jobs?
So really look at the disruption the pandemic caused as an opportunity to continue to reimagine what education can and should be for our students, for their future success.
Absolutely, Rowan. That actually can have huge implications for school board members, particularly about staffing, about hiring, about investment, about student courses. This has tremendous implications. I am actually hoping every school can spend at least a week to talk to their students, talk to parents to say, what did we get out of this horrible, pandemic? We did experience a lot, and there's a lot to learn from that.
And I believe you're going to be sharing some additional insights with us when you come in November, both at your keynote, but also in your education session, breakout session, which we're really looking forward to. Yong, thank you so much for spending time with us today and for sharing and thinking about these two questions that you prepared just for our Iowa school board members here in the state of Iowa.
Thank you. I'm so looking forward to meeting with everyone in November. This is going to be wonderful. I hope I'll bring in various lessons from different countries, from different places, and to have a great conversation with everybody. Thank you, Luan.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Yong. We'll see you soon.